Hey everybody, how you doing? This is in fact Oliver Joyce from Whiskey Barrel Studios, and wow, 9th of July, and we are powering along on the development of Swords and Sandals Immortals. I'm about 5 months into development now. Can you believe it? I started in February. It doesn't really feel like that, and you've hardly seen anything from the game. Tiny little bits here and there. But we're getting ready. We're about a month away from a trailer, I think, give or take. And I'm going to show you a little bit more from the game today. I'm going to show you just a tiny bit of how the shops work. So hopefully that's interesting for you. Over this last week or so, I've been working mainly on the arena combat stuff, particularly on skills in battles and so on. And I decided I needed to bring items into battles, and to do that, I needed to be able to sell items from shops. I had armor and weapons and everything for sale in the game, but I didn't have miscellaneous items such as healing potions or mana potions or skill cooldown potions. All that sort of stuff was not yet in the game. So I needed to go back and add that in before I could add it into combat. So over the last 3 or 4 days, that's what I've been doing. And one interesting thing, which I'll tell you about when I go into more detail and I show you, is that shops are now persistent. And so as your character goes through the game, so do the shopkeepers, and their inventory will change from week to week. But I'll tell you a bit more about that in a second. What else have I been doing in the game? I was playing a little bit of Chivalry 2 on PlayStation 5 last week. Great game if you've never played it. It's just wild and hectic medieval battles, sort of, 64 players on big medieval maps. Crazy, good fun. But one of the ideas I got from that game was the ability to be able to throw your weapon in battle. So I've added that as a skill on the warfare tree. Because I had ranged weapons all working, I thought, well, what about you can use your own item as a ranged weapon, but it has a cooldown, of course. So now, if you've got a heavy sword or a pickaxe or whatever it is, you can press throw weapon, and he will throw the weapon, bam, hit your enemy, and this will has a good chance of doing a lot of damage, but has a big cooldown on it. So you won't be able to the weapon won't reappear in your hand for about 6 or 7 or whatever, how many it is turns. And meanwhile, he'll switch to his shank, which is a backup weapon that you always have in the game. You always have this tiny little dagger that appears. So if you sell all your weapons, you always have a shank, because partly I didn't want to sort of code in punches and that kind of thing, because that's a whole nother animation set we don't need. And partly I feel like, it's Swords and Sandals. You should always have a basic tiny sword with you at all times. So that is, of course, now in the game. Throwing weapons, it's cool. They throw, they hit your enemy, you can do a lot of damage, and there's a cooldown on them. You can also switch to a ranged weapon back and forth now, like in Sword and Sandals 2. So in Sword and Sandals 2, you had ranged weapons with ammo. And in this game, you'll have the same thing. You'll have a limited amount of ammo, but you'll have the ability to improve your quiver or ammo pack or whatever it is through the game as you get more skilled, and of course buy more equipment for your character. So you can fire your ranged weapon until you run out of ammo and then switch to your melee weapon, or you can start the game with a broadsword and have a backup bolter rifle, whatever it is. And then as the game, as the battle progresses, you could jump away, switch to ranged weapon. So that's more of a Sword and Sandals 2 thing. I know in Sword and Sandals 3 you had ranged weapons. I can't remember if you could switch them out during the battle, though. I don't think you could. So as I've said in the past, this game is very much a bit of a hybrid of Sword and Sandals 2 and Sword and Sandals 3. It's sort of a bit of the best of both, really, I'm hoping, plus a bunch of new stuff. But let's jump over now to the shops, and I'll show you what I've been doing there. Okay, so right now I'm actually in the weapons shop, and you can see a list of the weapons here, and I can use the mouse wheel to scroll down or up, or of course drag them, and it all works on mobile and everything as well. This is a list of all the swords in the game. You can also, if you wish, you can sort via little box grid like that as well. These red icons are for assets we don't have pictures for yet. I can show you. This is basically what the weapons look like now. So there you go, a sneak preview of the weapons. How cool is that? You can see what you've got equipped right now. I've got a dagger, and this is a spatha, which I could sort of buy instead. It does damage 6, and it shows you like comparisons of versus these other weapons that does damage of 2. Right now, most of the stats aren't working properly. So although I've added a few, sort of this is the damage for this item, the weight of the item is not in there yet, and neither is the cost and that kind of thing. But you can see axes are there, a bunch of cool axes, no pole arms yet. And going down, we've got bolters, guitars, wands, that kind of thing. But they will also be in the game at some point. You'll also be able to sell your items. So I have a dagger equipped at the moment. It shows me that's what's equipped. I have a shank as well. And I can sell that dagger if I want. I can't sell the shank. The shank is something that stays with you the whole game. I'm going to put a little note in the game about that. But as I mentioned, the shank stays with you. You always have a weapon at all times, and you can't throw the shank either. But yeah, so by shopping, you can also sort via your armor and everything like that. It's a helmet I've got at the moment. I'm not going to show you the armor yet, but there's a cool helmet. I'll get some healing potions as well I could sell. No food. But yeah, you can sort of sort things via. So I'm quite happy with this new shop system as well. And we're going to go over to the magic shop in a second, and I'll show you what I mean about shop persistence as well. Now, one thing I've got to mention is that I've actually hidden the shopkeeper stuff, which is over on the right side there. It's all hidden. There's a nice background of the battle caravan with the campfire and all the tents, and the shopkeeper portraits and a little speech bubble telling you about what's going on. That's all hidden because I want to surprise you with that a bit later. I'm just slowly revealing. But we are in the magic shop now, and you can see they have 5 items for sale. I've only added a couple just to test them out. The cost is all the same, 50 gold pieces at the moment. That tells you how much it weighs. I'm still playing around with what the various icons mean, and what that will do, and this will explain to you at some point. Small healing potion heals 20% of your health or whatever it is. This little number here, 8, 2, 10, 4, 6. When you start a character, the shops get filled. So the armorer forges a whole bunch of armor. The weaponsmith forges all their weapons. The enchanter brews some potions and so on. And this week, they've only brewed 8 small healing potions, 2 large healing potions, 10 small essence potions, and so on. And if I buy one, there we go, buy one. Notice now I have 2 here. They only have 7 there. 6, 5, 4, 3. I've bought all of the small healing potions available until the shops restock. And that might be, I haven't worked it out yet. That will sort of come with playtesting, but it might be every week or every time you go to a new arena or whatever it is. Probably every week, which will be like 7 battles or something like that. So 1 battle, 1 day. And I'm going to play around with those numbers, but I think it's kind of cool. It means you just can't buy 99 potions. Because I've always found that a little bit stupid in games where you could just buy unlimited quantities of stuff like that, and the armorers and so on would just be happy to sell you 100 helmets and everything. But where is all this stock coming from? Because this is a traveling battle caravan that goes with you, traveling shopkeepers, they need time to forge their weapons, brew their potions, and so on. And that's something that I'm looking forward to, playing around with. Where that gets kind of interesting is that there are magical and rare weapons and items which will appear each week. So one week you might be a king's helmet of strength, but you've only got that week to buy it. And if you don't have the gold at that time, the weapons and items will sort of refresh and restock the next week, so it might be gone. So it's going to be a little bit like a kind of lucky dip each week what you get. And one week you might be going, well, I need a good shield, but there's not many good shields available. I better wait till next week, or I better get that run right now, that kind of thing. So it's quite interesting. And I hope that works well, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I've still got to play around with a lot, but these icons as well are placeholder icons for the potions. I'll be getting more high detail ones for those. Those are actually the little battle icon in that icon bar in the battle bar. But they're too low res for this kind of thing right now. So there we have the shop system. As with everything in this game, it's all a work in progress. And I'm building all these systems and slowly tying them together, working out what works, what doesn't. The nature of game dev is that you have to build things before you know if they work. On paper, it might be fine, but in practice, things don't always work. And that can be time consuming. I haven't been able to use items in the arena until I've had the shops to sell the items, that kind of thing. But it's a lot of fun putting it together. I'm really enjoying the build of this game, and I'm loving using the Godot engine. So if you are looking for a game engine for your own game, highly recommend it. Really, it's been great for the purposes of the game. And even though it's about sort of 4 or 5 months into development, this is still, for me, the fastest build of a Swords and Sandals game I can remember. The most for a game of this size and magnitude as well. I hope you like the shop system so far. It's all subject to change, and there'll be more polish and detail to it. Once the shopkeepers are in there next to it, it looks really cool actually, and you have a nice background in the background. You can kind of see the background in the icon there. It's a little bit blurred, but it's really colorful, and it changes with the time of day and everything. What else? One small thing I wanted to mention. Very early in the development of this game, I was talking about a Dark Souls style point system towards leveling up your ability points. You'd put points into strength, but then it'll be more expensive to do so. I decided to scrap that because I feel like it's not really in the spirit of this game. It kind of came about from me. I just started playing, Demon Souls and that kind of thing, and I often do that. I'll be playing a game and I'll think, oh, that's a cool system from this game. It doesn't always work. And in games like Sword and Sandals, I don't think you should be punished for wanting to put all your points into strength or charisma or whatever it is. If you want to do that, you can do that. And so I'm removing that and just putting it 1 point equals 1 ability point. That's how we're going to go with it. So those who are concerned about that need not fear. So it's Friday now, so this is probably, I haven't got that much more to work on this week. Next week, I'll be looking at really getting more and more skills into the battle, into the arena stuff, getting the items working, drinking potions, that kind of stuff. Probably the next 2 or 3 weeks will be focused largely on skills. And then after that, I'll probably do the skill tree, so you can start leveling up your character properly, because that is not in the game. I still haven't gotten around to all the sort of various death animations and decapitations and loss of limbs and everything. That will come. That probably won't be before the trailer, but I've nearly got enough for a game trailer. So yeah, once we have that, I'll be throwing it over to my good friend Michael Loader to do a game trailer. And that's about it for now. We're in lockdown here in Sydney, Australia, meaning we can't really go anywhere because of this COVID thing. So last week, this week, and next week, we're stuck at home. So it's a rainy weekend coming up. It's going to be fun. For those of you who have kids, you know what a rainy weekend can be like. We roll with the punches. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you're excited about where Sword and Sandals Immortals is going. And I'll have a Steam page up for you soon, so you can start wish listing, and that's going to be really important. I need you guys to wish list the game. Speaking of need, I need you to subscribe to the channel if you want more Sword and Sandals content. If you don't, that's fine too. All right, my friends. Until next time, look after yourselves and bye for now.